Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to pick number 14 of the stories behind the first time you heard those beloved albums, where you got them from, who you were with, what you thought, and what you think all these years later, right? That first memory. It's got to be a memorable one, right? It's not like, I went to the store, bought an album, came home, loved it, right? There's got to be some other kind of story behind it. Maybe you were in a place that you normally didn't buy stuff. Maybe your initial reaction was kind of like, whoa, all sorts of different stories behind special albums in our lives, right? So today for this one's kind of notable for a couple of reasons. First of all, as I told the story a couple days ago with Metallica's Ride the Lightning, I bought that from Rock and Roll Heaven North, directly from Johnny Z from Megaforce Records, which is really special because, of course, why he would open up a record store in like the Hudson Valley, especially in a tiny little out-of-the-way town called Warwick, New York. I have no idea, but I was lucky to find out about the place and go there. Bought a bunch of records from him. Well, today we're going to fast forward to probably the latter part of 1984. So this particular album came out in September 1984. I think I bought this right around Christmas time. I was home from Christmas break, so this was not long. This was right around the time where I think they closed the shop shortly thereafter. So this was the last time I went there. This was probably the last thing I bought from Johnny and Marcia at Rock and Roll Heaven North. And I remember like specifically going in there that day and looking around and seeing all this stuff. And I would always go and I'd be like, what do you recommend? What's new? What's hot? He goes, we got the brand new album in from this very cool band that made a lot of waves with their first album. He goes, if you don't have it, it's great. It's evil. It's heavy. It's amazing. And I saw the album cover and I was like, oh, that looks pretty cool. Didn't listen to any of it while I was there, but I was very open to trying things that people recommended to me. So John sold me Don't Break the Oath by Merciful Fate. I had never listened to Melissa. I had no clue what Merciful Fate sounded like, so this was my first exposure to this band. And I remember, thinking, okay, name of the band's kind of cool, right? Looks interesting. He was trying to describe the music to me, seeing the pictures of the band and everything like that. And I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to give this a try. Had no idea about the vocals of King Diamond or anything like that. So I brought it home. Like I said, I was on like Christmas break. I remember this specifically because, it's Christmas time. I was born and raised a Catholic and everything like that. And then I get home and I'm like listening. I go into my room because my parents still kept up my room in the basement, right? Even though I was away at school. And I go down and I pop this on. Everybody's listening to holiday music upstairs. And I pop this on and I'm like, and right from the very, very first song, A Dangerous Meeting, I'm hearing these really evil vocals, this high-pitched falsetto stuff, and this kind of like more guttural stuff, and I'm like reading some of the lyrics, and Welcome Princess of Hell, Desecration of Souls, Night of the Unborn, and I'm like, and this guy who's singing in all these weird octaves and like singing all this occult stuff and satanic lyrics, and I literally was unsure of what I thought of this. I'm like, all right, musically, I love it because like musically, it reminded me of like old school Priest, right? That very kind of progressive-minded early heavy metal, and I was loving the guitar playing and everything like that. And his vocals I was like, I kind of dig it, but this was really my first exposure to lyrics of this sort. And shortly thereafter, I have another story that I'll tell about another band. But I remember like sitting there in my room thinking, I don't know if I want anybody in this house knowing that I'm listening to this stuff because I'm not even sure. I'm like, I thought I was a pretty good Catholic boy, right? And while I was Sabbath was my favorite band, and I listened to some bands that had lyrical content and imagery that went a certain direction, but this was like one foot in the door, right, of that. And I was like, so I kind of enjoyed this, but with a little bit of trepidation. And it eventually, as the months went on, it really grew on me, and I was like, who cares? And before you know it, you listen to all sorts of stuff that kind of bands who take this sort of direction from an image and lyrical perspective, and certainly like this band influenced so many other bands I was listening to later on, right? And like I said, you got Celtic Frost and Slayer's right around the corner, and so on and so forth, and even like a lot of the thrash bands and some of the new wave of British heavy metal bands were also touching on some of this more evil occult imagery, but nothing like this at the time. And I was like, King's vocals were kind of freaking me out. And I was like, every time I played this album, I was kind of like, when you look over your shoulder, I'm like, man, this is some weird ass evil shit. But I liked it, and it grew on me. And within a couple of months, I had to go get that other album. I went and got Melissa. But before you know it, you're hearing through the grapevine that the band is basically, put on hold. And then you blink, and Fatal Portrait comes out from King Diamond. And that was I was totally into that, because by this time I'm really digging King Diamond and all that he's doing. And that stuff, the King Diamond stuff, were more like storytelling and like horror stories and things like that, which I was always a big horror fan, less on the whole kind of satanic aspect of it all. So I really embraced the King Diamond stuff, but I missed Merciful Fate. So that's when Fate came back in the early 90s, I was just totally all for it. So yeah, Don't Break the Oath. Didn't love it at first. Took me a little while. I was afraid of it. I'll be honest. I was afraid of this album. This album scared me. I was like, man, I don't know. Should I be playing it? Definitely did not want to show my mom this. I was like, nah, you know what, Mom? Because my mom's very, very Catholic woman, right? Just, she would not have been down with this at all. She had it up to here with all the Kiss stuff and the Black Sabbath she barely tolerated. And this would have been something else. So I was like, when I brought this back to school with me after Christmas break, I made sure to hide this in a bunch of other albums that I bought, so she couldn't notice it, right? And I was like, yeah, you don't need to see what I picked up over the holidays. And then, like I said, but it was also notable for my last purchase at Rock and Roll Heaven North. Like I said, they wound up closing down, and then in 1985, another guy opens up a shop in Middletown, New York, named Steve Keeler, and the rest is history. And I bought a ton of stuff from Steve when he first opened up. I would go there any chance I could. And Steve was just so great at just recommending stuff. I'd be like, what do you got? What do you like? Bought that Whiplash album from him, and Carnivore, and Hyrax, and Megadeth, and, God, so many albums. Possessed, Seven Churches I bought from him. I bought Scream Bloody Gore from him. I bought, so many bands. Steve is the guy who really helped me get into thrash. And I just was buying any thrash album, and then, a lot of the early death metal scene as well. But, opened up the doors in a big way. But I could always count on Steve to have any kind of metal or hard rock, right? I'll tell the story another day of another purchase from Rock Fantasy. I'll save it. I just thought about it. I didn't put it on my list, but I should, because it's very worthwhile. That's my story for today. Merciful Fate, Don't Break the Oath, 1984, last purchase from Rock and Roll Heaven North. Scared the shit out of me in the day back when I first got it. Wasn't sure I dug it, but I grew to love it, and love it to this day. And to me, those first two Merciful Fate albums are absolute metal classics. And let us know what you think of my story, but more importantly, your story down below in the comments. Your album, your story, and we'll see you tomorrow for another one. Visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube all together, all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and click on that notification bell so you get alerted of all of our content as it posts. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Also down below, we got the links to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, our merch page, and our Cameo page, and the Sea of Tranquility membership options. All down below. Thank you in advance for all of you who support. Greatly appreciated. And we'll see you soon here with more stuff. Got the UK connection coming up in just a couple hours. Least favorite albums from Halloween, German power metal legends. Tomorrow we got a 2-fer for you. You might even get a 3-fer. The more I'm thinking about it. Well, you're definitely going to get 2 Canterbury Prague legends, Hatfield in the North, and Egg, 2 separate episodes, both short catalogs coming up tomorrow. I got another one I'm thinking about doing that's also a short catalog, and one I've been talking about for a while, just haven't gotten around to, so I may just give you a 3 for tomorrow. So that band is Henry Cow. If you don't get it tomorrow, you're going to get it next week. So anyway, lots to do, lots to see. See you in a bit. I'm Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.